All right, all right. How are we doing, everyone? How's everyone doing today? We're going to go through some posts I have saved here. See if anybody drops in. But I'm just going to be talking about this stuff. So, guys, this one post that I've been looking at just popped up the other day. Talks about how there's been evidence of ivermectin and other substances aiding in stopping cancer since like the 1980s, right? Something crazy, like a very long time ago, right? Maybe 1990s, 1980s, but it's been over 20 years that this information's been known, right? And big pharma and the health industry has been keeping this information from us. And I actually know people personally that have been using ivermectin and other substances to become cancer free. I have a friend in particular, he's had cancer 3 times. Stage 3 cancer this last time. Now he's cancer free because he did a ivermectin treatment. It was ivermectin and a couple other substances, but ivermectin is the main compound that aids in stopping cancer more than anything, right? There's a lot of data on this. And he had to go to Mexico to get this treatment. It's not even allowed in the United States. And the reason being is because it's a $1 trillion industry, right? They're making trillions of dollars off of us being sick, off of people having cancer. Think about how much it costs for cancer treatment. Right, so let's listen to what this person has to say of like the evidence. I mean, 84.4% of cancer taking ivermectin and mebendazole. So this is the other compound, I guess, that I wasn't familiar with. But they had no evidence of disease or tumor shrinkage or cancer stabilization after 6 months. And if you do it the right way, it will completely get rid of your cancer. And there's hundreds of preclinical studies on this. Right, so let's listen. I mean, think about this. Over 100 studies, over 100 clinical studies that show evidence of these compounds being effective for cancer treatment. Yet, it's illegal in our country, right? Like how many? I mean, there's probably studies done on things with way less information, way less proof that are being used right now, mainstream, right? So this is just ridiculous. This is the other thing you got to think about. Okay, so my friend that had stage 3 cancer, it was the worst cancer he's had. He had it 3 times, right? The last time it was worse than both times beforehand. He suffered so much from the treatment of let me just go back. From the chemo treatment, right? So he suffered so much from the chemo treatment. And he was like dying. His body was degrading because of the chemo. Right? He felt terrible the entire time he was battling cancer. But when he took ivermectin and he must have been taking this other compound as well, but I know he was on a couple compounds that are not legal in the United States. You can't use it. He felt great during it. right? He felt as good, if not better, than when he didn't, he wasn't going through the cancer treatment. So he actually felt healthy. He felt good. He felt like he had energy. He wasn't dying because obviously the chemo is breaking your body down in different ways to try to treat it, right? So that's the thing is like when you take ivermectin and these other compounds, you feel good while doing so as well while you're fighting it. And I mean, that just goes to show like that you feel that way for a reason. Okay, so basically, it stops at the root cause of the cancer, right? Ivermectin, and then it stops. Like as he said, it affects the glucose, and glucose sugar is the main thing that cancer feeds off of, right? So, doctors are telling people, yeah, and this happened to my friend that had issues with his cancer. That had cancer 3 times. He was told by his doctors, you can drink as much as you want, you can drink alcohol, you can eat whatever you want, right, and it won't really affect anything. That's what he was told by his doctor. Do what you want, nutrition-wise, do what you want with alcohol, other substances, and guess what happened? He struggled immensely. He felt terrible. Obviously, it's exacerbating these symptoms. Obviously, it's making your cancer worse, right? How do you think people get there in the first place? By taking these substances, by eating a certain way, by structuring your nutrition a certain way. So these doctors are telling you can eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want. I mean, nutrition is typically the main reason that causes it, right? So, cutting out sugar is just like a very simple thing that you can implement to stop it. Right, it's probably going to be the most crucial, most beneficial thing that you could do when you're going through it is changing your nutrition, eliminating sugar, which the cancer feeds off of, and then all these other substances that are illegal in our country that actually aid in stopping cancer much better than chemo, and you'll actually feel good while doing so. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like it's like right in front of our faces since the 90s or the 80s, we've had this information. Our country, our government, our medical system has just kept this information from us. So it's just disgusting. It's sad. And then let's look on here. So this is when it explains. This is the post that explains how long we've known this information. Why is the CIA classifying medical information? Why are they even part of these processes? Like seriously, the CIA classified this? How do you get the CIA to classify a medical thing, like medical information? That it has to be a grave, it has to have a grave effect on our government for CIA to be part of it. Right? Why the fuck are they part of this process? Like, our government's so backwards, dude. They're controlling things that they shouldn't even have control over. Sorry, this is in the 1950s. right? This is over 70 years ago. 70 years ago we've had this information. And think about how many lives, how many people have died, suffered from cancer because of the lack of information, right? The suppression of this information. Like, legitimately, people with terminal cancer, with the worst cancers possible, are becoming cancer-free from these substances. And this information has been known since the 50s and never told to us, classified by the CIA of all organizations that should have no control over our medical information. Ridiculous. Just a joke, man. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. I can't believe it. Alright, we're going to move on to another post here. So I saw this video a couple days ago, and it just shows the direction our country is moving in. Our country is becoming a totalitarian government, or it's becoming a communist state, right? And you know that by the suppression of speech that's happening. It's now illegal to make this joke, and it goes to show, like, there's someone in, he actually gives an example here, let's see. Okay, first of all, how soft has our country become? Right? How soft have people become? I understand, like, people are suffering in other countries, other states. Of course, and I'm sure this person knows that as well. Like, it's not that, I mean, the joke wasn't that crazy, right? It wasn't disrespecting those people. And I think that's probably what the people that were offended were saying. That's the stance they were taking, right? Like, oh, other people are actually suffering from this person, whatever. Yeah, he's a terrible person. I mean, I'm sure she would agree. But, like, this joke has been made all over social media, so many times, over and over and over again. And because somebody felt offended, now it becomes a serious crime, and nobody can speak freely now. Like, you know this, like, there was no intent, like, no serious intent. This is a known meme and a joke, and this person is getting a felony for this, right? Like, this is what our country has come to. They're suppressing our speech to the extent that now people are being imprisoned because of this stuff. And the judge should not have a position. She should not be a judge if she thinks that critically about this type of shit. Like, it's just ridiculous. And dude, that's the thing that we have to understand is, look at what these people, these random citizens are being prosecuted for, a joke, right, which is clearly a joke. And then you look at the government and people in higher positions, like our president, like Everybody that was in the Epstein files, right, which is many of which are in our government, and look at how much they're being prosecuted, or they haven't even gone to court. They haven't even testified. They're not pursuing these people. They're not looking into it. It goes under the rug. But when somebody makes a joke, they're in an orange jumpsuit, and they're getting prosecuted for a felony for saying words. And then these people are raping children, and nothing happens to them. That's when you know you're in a communist state, a totalitarian government where they have so much control, but nothing happens to them. Right? They're never in the wrong. Nothing will ever happen to them, and they can do the most gruesome, disgusting things, the worst thing a person could possibly do, and nothing happens to them. And I was actually going to talk about the alpha-gal syndrome because it goes hand in hand with this. But you look at these ticks now that are running. 450,000 people have been bit by these ticks now that give you a allergic reaction to meat. Let's see. By the way, ticks are probably the worst thing on the planet. Like the worst living things on Earth. Right? I don't know anything that's worse. They're little tiny bugs that burrow under your skin and can give you life-threatening diseases. And they don't die. Like these things can last. These things I think can outlast cockroaches in terms of the things it can endure. Like they're so hard to kill, and you can barely see them. The most disgusting things on Earth. Oh my Lord. No way those are ticks. Those little things are ticks? Dude. No. No. Look at how small these are. Look at how small those are. Dude. There's no way those are ticks, right? This is my worst. I think this is most people's worst nightmare. Look at how tiny those things are. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Dude, that's so freaky. You would never know that these things are on you, ever. You would never find out. And then look, they get bigger by sucking on your blood, right? They get bigger by burrowing under your skin and consuming your blood. So imagine you have hundreds of these things crawling up your body. And then they're all burrowed under your skin. And they get bigger. This is insane. It's so freaky. And now think about now the fact that these ticks, some ticks, Lone Star tick can now give you a disease. It can now make you allergic to meat. See, okay, these are super small as it is, right? They're super small and a danger as it is. Those ticks crawling on that guy's skin were like 1/20th of the size of these things. They were so small. They were like microscopic. That is disgusting. Okay, so that just gives you an idea of like how disgusting ticks are. They released, and again, like supposedly they release bioengineered ticks so that now they give you a disease that makes you allergic to meat. And who was doing studies of ticks, bioengineering studies of ticks? Bill Gates. And who has a company with lab-grown meat? Bill Gates. And who's the biggest proponent of controlling the population on Earth? Bill Gates. I mean, like, it's just like so clearly obvious in our faces, but we can't do shit about it. This is crazy. I can't believe it. Okay, so somehow, I don't know what's going on with my volume here. Okay, so somehow, I don't know what's going on with my volume here. Wow, that's terrible.